Oh no, it's not working. There we go. All right. Let's go straight down to the product rule. We are on 2.3. Ready? All right. It's called the product rule because we have two functions side by side being multiplied. And the rule states the following. Take the derivative of the first one and you keep the second. And you add to the derivative or original to the derivative of the second one. And I want to go ahead and box where the two derivatives are coming from. The first one and second one. And yes, the part without the derivative, you're going to just copy the function as it is. So let's do an example that has to do with this rule. Let's label the first one f of x. Second one, let's label that g of x. So my function right now is h of x. That means the derivative must be h prime of x. Looking at the rule, it says to take f of x and find the derivative. What is the derivative of x squared plus 3x? 2x plus 3. Notice my constant 2 I didn't even worry about because it's going to be 0. And then my formula says keep the second one as it is. So copy. Separated by a plus sign. Keep the first function. And simply derive the second function g of x. What is the derivative of g of x here? 2. And literally this is it. That's our product rule. You don't need to distribute and combine like term, none of that. All right? All right. Let's move on to example 3 and we'll go on to the one that has to do with the trig. So let's all go to number 3. So on number 3, not everyone's listening. If I have something squared, first of all, it shouldn't be f of x. I'm going to rename this. Let's call this one h of x. If something is squared, you do not distribute to the components because it's separated by a plus or minus sign. So let's rewrite. This component is actually happening twice. And I know they're identical, but it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and label them. I'm going to go ahead and say the first one is f of x. Second one is g of x. And then use our product rule to find the derivative. So what do I do with the first one? Keep or derive? Derive. And when I do, I get how many? 8x. The second one we do what? Keep. Plus. Now we keep the first one. It's like alternating. And when I derive the second one, we get how many? 8x. And literally that's it. So if I give you a product rule on your next test, please don't miss it. More like a freebie. All right, now let's go on to number 2. On number 2, let's go ahead and rewrite this guy. We have k of x is equal to, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in parentheses. And let's go ahead and label. Here's my f of x. Here's my g of x. And my derivative will be k prime. Okay, let's go ahead and remind ourselves of the rule. The first thing I do is keep or derive, which I get how many? 12x squared. Second one, we do what? Keep it. Plus, and I keep the first one. And let's do a quick reminder on our trig. Let's write out snow cone and not snow cone. So derivative of sine is going to be the one directly underneath it, which is what? Cosine of x. Now let's move on to our quotient rule, which is just slightly different, but almost similar to the product rule. You guys are ready? Okay, this may be our last page. Okay, if you're ready on this, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, that's fine. I'll go ahead and leave it on this for about 10 more seconds. Everyone good? All right. On the next page, let's write the rule for our quotient. And this denominator is something that I want you to focus on. Quotient is going to sound almost the same as our product rule, except something on the bottom is different. Take all of the bottom and square. So let's see how it is similar on the numerator. So on the product rule, we had it separated by a plus sign. So if it's division, what do you think it's going to be separated by? Minus, very well. And the pattern remains. We are going to derive the top, keep the bottom, keep the top, and derive the bottom. So you guys see how it's almost similar on the top, except with the minus sign? Yeah. Yes? All right. So then let's apply them. So here's my f of x. Here's my g of x. And the function given to us by y is equal to, our derivative will be y prime. And as a good reminder, let's go ahead and square the bottom. X squared plus 3 all squared. Because when you get carried away with the numerator, you might forget the bottom. So on my numerator, what do I do with the top one? Keep or derive? Derive, which I get how many? 7. And then we keep the bottom. What sign is going to separate this one compared to the other one? Minus. And we keep the first one. What is my derivative of the bottom? 2x. Done, that's it. All right, let's do number 5 and let's add on to the card that we've already had for the 4 more trig derivatives. So number 5, let's call this h of x. We want to rewrite the numerator so we don't have a fraction over a fraction. So 3 minus the x to the negative 1, x plus 5. And let's go ahead and label them. Here's my f of x. And once you get comfortable with it, you don't need to label every single time. So here we go. We have h of x, or h prime of x. So let's go to our denominator and automatically do what? Square it. On my top, we are going to derive the negative x to negative 1. How many is that? Just 1x to negative 2? If you don't want to write the 1, that's fine. Keep the bottom separated with the minus sign. Keep the top, even though it looks pretty fancy and ugly. What is the derivative of x? 1. There's an understood 1. And literally that's it. If it's a negative x, it'll be negative 1 as a derivative. Okay, on your card, I want you to take out the one that's got card number 2. And this is the front of the card. Now, if you don't have a flashcard, maybe you wrote on a separate sheet of paper, and maybe you can't write on the back. I don't know. So on the back of it, I've added 4 more derivatives. And these are trig derivatives that I want you to go over every single day to get used to. It's almost like memorizing first and last names. And then 1 minute, let's go over number 7, which is our last one.
Let's take a picture of it.
You should already have it. But if you want to take a picture, go for it. You can rewatch the video as well.
I'll just rewatch it.
Sounds good.
Is it 2.1 video you?
2.1. How far did I record it to? Let me check.
Not that I haven't watched it.
Look at you. Not that I haven't. 2.1. Yeah, there's new video on 2.1 as well.
So I'm completely caught up except for the one thing that I didn't understand.
Yeah, all of Unit 2 is my new videos. And I'll keep recording.
Yeah, exactly.
And make sure you're memorizing these every day. Because in the end, it's either you know it or you don't. By heart. Okay, I'm going to rewrite number 7 just to, since I write kind of big.
Oh, wait. Are we allowed to come to hearing advisory tomorrow? Or you know it's a half day?
Check the schedule.
Early release, not a half day.
Check the schedule though.
2/3.
All right. Okay, if you're ready for the last question, give me a thumbs up. I'm ready, are you? About half of us? Okay, 10 more seconds on this.
People call it that. I'm gonna say video game.
Okay, let's find the derivative. All right, what is the derivative of x? 1. And we keep the second one. We add, because this one is product rule. Keep the first. Now, the derivative of secant that you wrote on your card is secant x times tangent x. And I think I'm going to put tangent with a little curve so it doesn't look like a plus sign. And literally, that's it.